How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about BBIG, which ended up showing a lot of strength towards the close. Yeah, you know what? I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We also want to know resistance and what we want to look forward to as this week progresses. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information and as well as for the recent institutional ownership. We want to know, does it continue to have short squeeze potential? What numbers are actually looking like? And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. Were institutions loading up on shares today? We're going to find this out because we can see it from the large scale orders. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as going over some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for BBIG Vinco Ventures. Let's see how it performed on the day. So ended up closing at $9.66, being up 21.05%. On the low, it tested $7.63, and then on the high, testing $9.95. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 131.171 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 146.286 million shares. So even though we had below average volume, we ended up seeing some strength in the stock price. No surprise, because we had some heavy consolidation for a good portion of the day, had a little bit of a pullback, and then exploded towards the end. Now, with the chart we're using is the 1-year daily chart. When we take a look at the RSI down below, you can see it's at 77.24. So this is in the overbought territory. As far as for our moving averages that we have on the chart, it is well above it. We also covered that on the video that we did on the weekend. So what I was talking about as far as the strategy is concerned, you want to see how well it could hold up this $8 level. If it's showing that there's support around $8, of course on the day it did pull back to around $7.63, but again it ended up recovering and then went back to $8 and then made that move towards the end of the day, testing $9.95. So you could have easily made money off of this trade right here, especially since we knew, hey, there's support at 8 and we can look forward to seeing that move going to 10. But for the most part, if you're still inside of this play, things definitely do look good, especially since we're seeing there is some strength going on inside of the after hours. So as far as tomorrow is concerned, I want to see BBIG get to $10. We ended up testing $9.95 on the day, and I know for a fact the markets are probably going to be choppy due to some CPI data that we have coming out. So I feel like this is a great environment for BBIG. So let's look to get to that $10 level, and then after we could see what we could do from there. And then, of course, I'll make sure I'll give you guys another video. So we're on Fintel. We're going to take a look at the recent short interest and as well as the institutional ownership for BBIG. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we can see the recent filing for September the 7th, which was New Bridge Financial Services Group, and you see shares change. You see negative 65.22%. So that means they've unloaded a part of their position. Also, we could see Vanguard is also vested here, and we already uncovered that in the previous video. So now let's go to the short interest information. Scrolling down on the page, short shares availability is at 0, updated just now, and the short borrow free rate, it is not available, so I'm going to assume that it is fairly high because we saw that also in the recent video. Now when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the first it was at 58.70, the close for the second it was 43.67, and then the close for the third it was at 45.05. 0.15. So we know BBIG has short squeeze potential written all over it, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing some momentum today inside of this stock. And that's why I was telling you guys, hey, here are some areas you want to look out for so you can actually make some profits or get into a solid position. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for BBIG. So we can see on the inflow it's at 301, and then on the outflow it's at 239. So we ended up having an inflow day. So on the large we had 2.12, on the medium we had 213, and then on the small we have 86.30. So right out the gate, when we take a look at the small 86.30, this is retail right here. So retail investors and traders going in, buying up a ton of shares. We can see this clearly because this is also in the millions. When we take a look at the outflow side, we can see on the large it's at 2.63, so it's actually higher compared to what we see for the inflow side. And then on the medium it was at 168, and then on the small it was at 68.45. And part of the reasons why we have it at 68.45, I know for a fact there were a lot of traders inside of this play who were taking profits, trading off of fluctuations and so forth. But again, we still ended up having a surplus because the inflow side went out with 86.30. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today ended up being an outflow with 508.48, which again is no surprise due to the fact we saw it clearly when taking a look at the large scale orders when we compared the inflow as well to the outflow. So what this tells us overall in general, as long as we're having a lot of this volume coming into the stock, especially from retail, hey, we're going to continue to see this stock move. Also, when I put this video together and I was doing the technicals, I was like, hey, I want to see this stock go to $11 or get at least above that $10 range and have momentum. And here we are. So now that we got that out of the way, let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more key details. So for my final thoughts for BBIG, I just took a quick look at what was happening inside of the after hours, and it is crushing. I think it was around $11.40 something cents. When I was doing the technicals, I was like, hey, I want to see it gain that momentum into 10 and then go to the $11 range sometime this week. But hey, it's already happening, and I do know for a fact this is going to bring in even more retail traders into this play, so we could look forward to actually seeing this momentum continue. But do be aware of those areas of support that we talk about, because again, if you could be able to actually use the right position sizes and be aware, then you could really start maximizing your profits here and also be prepared for a lot of the fluctuations that come with being inside of this play. Also, when we went on Fintel, one thing that we saw clearly, this play does have short squeeze potential written all over it, and it's part of the reasons why it's getting a lot of attention that it's having, and I'm excited to see what further price action that we could see, even taking a look at what happened in the after hours. If you're inside of this play, one thing I want you to be aware of, just make sure that you're attentive, right? You don't want to just be putting your money inside of this play and not watching it. That is a bad thing to do, because when it's this volatile, you need to be keeping your eyes on it. And I want to really emphasize this because I've noticed a lot of times when people do get into this play, they probably heard it somewhere or they were watching a YouTube video, they go in, they buy the stock, and then they just forget about it. And then they go back and then they look at it like, whoa, what happened? The stock was supposed to go. But no, you have to make sure that you keep your eye on it. This is what's very important here. This is not a stock that you just put your money in it and forget about it. So I want to make sure I'm very clear. As far as what things are looking like for the rest of the week, there's definitely a lot more potential inside of this play, and I'm going to continue to keep you guys updated. But for the most part, it's great to see the momentum actually continue, and I'm feeling really good about my position. You guys can let me know inside of the comment section how you feel about this play as well, but it's definitely continuing to be bullish. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.